Spartan Nation, we're back. Welcome back to episode 2 of State of the Spartans. I'm Evan Hayden, your host, here with Steve Jurgensen. We're just marinating here in the man cave, watching the NBA All-Star action, sipping some Sparty parties. But unfortunately, the Sparty party is a little depressing tonight. We've lost 2 in a row again.
It's a little deflating.
4 out of 5. Are the wheels coming off? A lot of people down on us right now. A lot of negativity. Came out flat. Can't stay consistent. Don't have the guy. Izzo doesn't know what he's doing. Izzo has no answers. What do you think, Steve?
And guess what, guys? I have a little message for all Spartan fans that are freaking out, that are in panic mode. And you know what? You should record this, and you should just put it on your calendar. And put it just, you know what? February 20th. Every year, just a standing message on your calendar. And it should read something like this. Calm down. Everyone calm down.
Or, if it doesn't say that, it should be a reminder that the Spartans are about to lose 3 games in a row.
And guess
what? Or
what?
possibly 4 out of 5.
We do it every year, so what's the difference? Nothing in February matters. None of this loss, any of the losses before it don't matter. Because you know what? At the end of the day, when we go into the offseason, when we begin next year, what we will remember is not the 3-game or 2-game losing streak that we had in February or January. It's going to be where this team goes in the tournament. And everything is still in front of us. To be cliche, everything is there. We don't need to win the Big Ten tournament. We don't need to win the Big Ten. What we need to do is find a way to get Sweet 16, Elite 8, potentially the Final Four. The only thing relevant so far this year, to me as a Spartan fan, is that we just found out Tyson Walker can ball. And he's been way underutilized, partially his own fault, partially Izzo's fault. He's a new guy on the team. They've both said he's been way too passive, and they need him to look to score more. They've said that after the last couple games, actually. And you know what? First half, super passive. First half of the second half, super passive. And then, boom, the last 10 minutes, he said, you know what? Forget it. I'm deferring to all of you guys. I'm deferring to you, Gabe. I'm deferring to you, Hogard. I'm deferring to you, Bingham. I'm done.
So Tyson went off. He had 24 points in the last 10 minutes of the second half.
Yeah.
Do you think, part of that's due to the way that they're guarding the pick and roll. The mid-range game was there for the taking, but he was making the shots, and he also had some heat checks that were going in. So Is it a little bit of both, or is it a story of him just taking advantage of that matchup, and this is just going to be a one-time thing?
I don't think it's a one-time thing, because the thing about Illinois, yes, Cockburn, big old Cockburn. I refuse to call him Coburn.
They mute the CK. It's Coburn.
I don't care. He's a big
But
Cockburn.
there's clearly a CK in his last name. He's a big Cockburn.
Big Cockburn.
Loves to rub the cock.
Yeah. Their guards defensively for Illinois are very good. Not just solid. They're very good. They're elite.
Oh, yeah.
Frazier is an elite defender. They had him on him, and he was carving Frazier up. Yes, there's picks, but he's weaving in and out. It was beautiful. And I think for the first time this year, they found an offensive identity in the pick and roll game. And it will get better if they can mix in a little bit of Bingham in that pick and pop, in the pick and roll. But Marble was doing
that role
a really good job.
Magnificently.
Really well. And honestly, that's just the surface of what they're going to do.
Yeah, so how do we bottle that going forward? I think clearly the recipe for success on offense is that high pick and roll.
Yep.
I mean, clearly it worked today. We have the guards to run it. We have the bigs to run it. We got the wings to run it. Why haven't we been doing this already? And why did it work so well today when it hasn't been working? That's the magic question. I'm sure Izzo would love to know the answer.
There's the thing, and I kind of mentioned on it last episode, but Izzo kind of lets them do their thing for a while. And every year, like I said last time, 9 out of 12 years, we lose 3 in a row. Izzo lets them do their thing, and then he goes, you know what? This ain't working. How about you try it my way? And then things start to click.
I also think that this team is still figuring out their identity. I don't know that we necessarily have an alpha dog. I mean, Tyson definitely played like
he is the alpha dog
today, and if he can keep doing that, but we've seen flashes from Hall, we've seen flashes from Marble, we've seen flashes now from Walker.
You have not seen
Christie, but
you have not seen a flash like that.
No, I mean that's an all-time second half that we just witnessed. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, but not all's lost. I mean, it's a February game. If we can bottle that confidence, bottle that offense, the defense was actually really good at the end of the game as well.
Yeah.
I think we can run the table.
To me, that had the look of someone who has been passive and said, I'm going to get mine, and I'm going to make sure that we're scoring points. And those other guys, when they went off, it didn't look like that. It just looked like they actually started to make some of the shots that they normally miss. For example, Walker, throughout the year, he's 22 of 41 on threes. He's shooting 53% from deep. Last year, obviously wasn't playing at Michigan State, shot 40 of 113 attempts from deep at 35%. He went from shooting 113 threes down to 41. Is it because he got worse or because he was deferring?
Well, he's definitely deferring. He's playing in a tougher conference. He's playing with better players, and he's still figuring out his role. And early on,
and he just figured it out,
right? And then I think we just figured it out. Not just he. Izzo,
everybody
is like, hold on a second. You're not the playmaking point guard that I'm trying to make you to be. I'm going to bring you off the bench. You're going to score. And it's working.
He's Kalen Lucas.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he played great for 40 minutes today, but I think we really unlocked something there at the end. And it's something that I was screaming at my TV all day long. If you listen to the cast, Jay Williams was saying it all day long. The mid-range game off the pick and roll is there all day long. Take it. We just need to double Cockburn in the post. And we were rolling. And when we were slow to double, he was feasting. When we weren't pick and rolling, we were lost on offense. And to me, that's why we lost the game. But we seemed to figure it out there at the end. So I'm hopeful that going forward, we can start to string together a few wins and put this little bad spell behind us.
You mentioned something in there about Jay Will. So let's just talk about, because he was catching heat from some Spartan fans during the game.
When he was. Spartan Twitter was alive.
When he was making Gabe look like a clown.
What was that all about? I mean...
What was what all about?
What was he talking about? Like, the kid's getting excited before the game. To me...
Oh, no.
To me, pregame...
No.
What you're doing pregame... Do you think Gabe was in the wrong, running around in circles there?
I think Gabe needs to grow up. I think Gabe's always needed to grow up.
Well, these are kids that we're talking about at the same time. I think you could go back and you could look at pregame tape of Cassius Winston, and he was doing similar stuff.
He was never.
Yes,
he was not running like that.
He was always in the middle of the group dancing.
He was in the middle, but he was firing up his team. He was heavily involved. He's not running around in circles looking like a little schoolgirl.
I'm not the biggest Gabe Brown fan right now. I think he needs to get locked back in, show some senior leadership. He needs to start taking better shots, and instead of just looking for his shot, he needs to play within the offense. He needs to get back to playing some scrappy defense. But I thought it was a little bit of a cheap shot from a Duke player who's one of our rivals. And he was speaking glowingly of Izzo today and talked about how he's molding young men. And he's seen it firsthand. But to take a 10-minute snippet of a 22-year-old kid running around before a game, whether you think that's right or wrong, I think it's a little bit of a low blow.
Honestly, he needs to hear it. There's one thing about getting feedback from inside the program and from fan base, but from outside the program, that's when you're going to hear the most truth. And it honestly, it didn't even occur to me until he said that stuff. And I started thinking to myself, can I imagine Mateen Cleaves running like that and acting like a clown?
It was a bad look, but it was also a 10-second block.
Charlie Bell doing that? Could I imagine Kalen Lucas doing that? And honestly, I can't imagine Cassius doing that. There's elements of you need to be locked in. You're not joking around. You're not running around.
That
you need to be locked on.
It's not just on Gabe. He's been in the program for 4 years.
There's been talk of that, though, from back when
they had the moment back 2 years ago in the tournament where they grabbed him by the arm and ESPN and everyone lost their mind because Izzo is a controlling coach and he yelled at his player. But, I mean, he's been coached hard and he is who he is and he's having a rough stretch. But before that, he was playing some pretty damn good ball. So I'm not ready to write off GB just yet.
He's
going to play a key role if we're going to make a run of money.
So I just looked at his numbers over the last 8 games. So the Rutgers game, he had a good shooting game.
He did.
We got blown out.
It didn't matter, right?
The other 7 games, the out of the last 8 games, excluding the Rutgers game, he's 5 of 28 from 3.
That's rough.
17%.
And we all watch the games, so we see the kind of shots that he's taking. So it comes as no surprise that he's shooting a low percentage because he's passing up catch and shoot opportunities where he's got a defender that's a couple steps away from him. And instead of taking that shot, he's taking a couple dribbles, and he's either passing or shooting. And then he's not driving because that's not part of his game.
He's got more turnovers than assists. He's not rebounding. He's not hitting shots.
It's a struggle. So how do we get him turned around? That's the question. If you're
to me, I don't even care about getting him turned around at this point.
Sit him on the bench like you did today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dang.
When he sat the bench in the second half, we came
alive. That is when we came alive.
In between Akins and Brooks, you not only is it going to help down the stretch this year, hopefully going into next year, it builds a little confidence for them. And Gabe, he's been here. He's had his opportunities. He's withering in the moment. He is not.
But you can't say stay calm and then also at the same time bench Gabe because he's had a rough stretch.
No,
his rough stretch has coincided with our losses. I think we need to get him going again. I think he is a key piece. He's a senior. We got it for us. I don't think we can reach the Final Four.
Here's a dirty little secret,
team's
though.
destiny.
Oh,
but for us to have any chance to go there, he's got to be playing his best ball. So we got to get him playing well. We can't just bench him.
I disagree. He's always going to be extremely streaky. He's going to get in his own head. I don't think he's going to turn that around. And honestly, if I thought Izzo wasn't willing to bench him, I wouldn't be saying calm down. Because if we were riding Gabe Brown...
Well, he got benched today.
If we were riding Gabe Brown...
He will continue to start.
He's been getting benched.
But his minutes are going to dwindle.
Absolutely.
So...
And honestly, the two-guard lineup, that you've been calling for that, actually. You've been calling for that a lot. The two-guard lineup with Tyson and... I'm
glad you brought that up because I did think that could definitely spark some creativity on offense. Was Izzo just saving that for today? Because until today, I had never seen them play together.
No.
And it was a thing of beauty.
You get 2 good ball handlers.
It's kind of like that two-headed monster that you see sometimes at running back where you got this speedster who can gash the defense. And then you got that pounder that can really wear them down.
Yeah.
And you can guess who's who. Tyson's the speedster. Hogarth's the pounder. He's going to take it down the lane and go at your big man and get fouls. And, I mean, you saw Tyson did a little bit today, but he's more of the finesse guy. He's the shooter. If we could get Hogarth shooting some threes, my God, that we would be dangerous. I don't think that's happening next year. I don't think that's happening this year. Maybe next year. But honestly... That's the lineup that I think that could make us a very dangerous team come tournament time,
In
because that's going to make us
that-
tough to guard, and they're both good defenders.
That
And-
right there is why I say they have Final Four potential, because you just saw something they had not shown, and it excelled a lot against one of the better defensive teams in the country.
I'm not ready to put that kind of
I'm not saying-
expectation
I'm
on
not-
us yet.
I'm
I still
not
think we're
saying-
a Sweet 16 team.
Okay,
And
but
I wouldn't. I'm never happy with the Sweet 16. I mean, we're talking about Michigan State basketball here. If we're going to call ourselves a blue blood, we can't be happy with Sweet 16s. But that's my expectations for this team. But I do think
I agree that that's the expectation, and I'm not saying that they should be expected to get to the Final Four. What I'm
But we
saying
could.
is they can do it. They
Yeah.
have shown through that game, and they have Christie's not playing as good as he's going to down the stretch, and
he's got.
they have the pieces to do it. They're starting to figure it out offensively. Offensively has been the only issue. Defensively, they've been fine.
You're right there.
And now that if this sparks them offensively and gets them playing in another space that they haven't got to before, now they go from a team that has a ceiling of a Sweet 16 to probably a team that
floor.
has an expectation of a Sweet 16, and
My
Potentially.
expectation is firmly the Sweet 16.
yeah,
I think anything less than that would be a disappointment, because, I mean, this is a team that, I mean, say what you want, but we've been ranked as high as 10th in the nation this year. I mean, there were points in this season where
yeah,
I
but
mean,
that
we
a
were
lot of that
playing-
was after a 9-game winning streak where half was crap teams.
but we were
and then
winning
the other
games
half-
we were supposed to win, where in the
Yeah.
past sometimes we lose those games. But anyways, another guy that I want to talk about that I thought played really well today was Joey. My man Joey. Keep shooting, Joey. He was hitting threes. He was driving the lane. He looked aggressive. He looked confident. What do you say about Joey, man?
I
If we
like
can
it.
get him playing right,
We need it. We need it.
he
He's
looks
the
like
stretch
he
four.
belongs, finally.
If he's shooting with confidence, and you could tell on a couple of those that he hit, he knew he was going to shoot it before he caught it.
Mhm.
And that's the key. He's got to
Yes,
have that
more
mentality
hesitation.
more. It's too many times. And there was one after he had already made two that he caught that I was like, you should have just fired that.
Yes.
And he took a couple dribbles.
If they give you
and-
an inch, just pull the trigger,
Exactly.
Joey. That's what I'm
Exactly.
going to tell him next time. For those of you that don't know, that want to know, me and Joey have a little bit of a history. May have bumped into Joey over at Beggar's Banquet, and I just had a simple message for Joey Hauser, and it's keep shooting, Joey. Joey, if you're out there, keep shooting. I got your back.
That is a strong message, and I agree with that. He needs to keep shooting. But let's take a look at what we have going down the stretch here. So we sit right now at 18-8. We are 9-6.
In the Big Ten.
In the Big Ten, correct. So listen to a little pregame this morning, and Izzo was talking about how this stretch, and I didn't even notice it, but they got 5 games in 11 days. That is a gauntlet.
It's not a lot of rest. But that
And-
also gives you a chance to get on a roll.
It does, but one thing that it was noticing, I was noticing that it gave Izzo a little pause, and I could see or hear a little uncertainty from him. One thing that he mentioned is that means that there's going to be 8 practices between today and the end of the season. That's it. And 4 of them are before a game day, which means they're going light and it's
Right.
install. So he's got 4 practices
Before
turn-
the Big Ten tournament.
before the Big Ten tournament to turn this team and to get this going. So that did give me a little concern. I thought that was an interesting bit. He's got 4 practices and 5
But
games in 11 days. These guys are gonna be tired.
Yeah, but we haven't been playing Bingham heavy minutes. I think there's some matchups in there that are
Gabe should be
definitely in our
fresh.
favor. I think in 4 of those, Gabe should definitely be fresh, and that could give him an opportunity to get going a little bit. Whether you think it or not, Gabe is going to play a role down the stretch. He's going to
Yeah.
start. He's not losing his spot unless he absolutely
We're better without
grabs
him.
the bed and it becomes an issue.
Aikens
within the
rebounds
team.
better. He
Yeah,
handles the
I'm
ball
not
better.
arguing
He
with you
defends
there,
better.
but
Don't need him. The best role he had in his career was when Cassius was taking us to the Final Four, and he was jumping up and down on the sidelines with
yeah, that was pretty electric.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
pretty good gifts
Him
out of
and
that.
him and Bingham.
But I'm saying, with the 5 games in 11 days, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you can pull up the schedule for us, but
Oh, I got it, and we're gonna run through it.
And I think in 4 out of those 5 games, we're gonna be favored. Other than Purdue, I think that we'll probably be the favorite in those games. Who do we got?
So looking at the schedule, we'll run through it here. 5 games left, 11 days at Iowa.
It's a tough game.
That's tough.
Win. Michigan just beat them.
Yes.
I think with the way that we just finished against Illinois.
Honestly, they're not that scary. They do have
It's a tough
Keegan
game
Murray.
on the road.
Keegan Murray
That's a
leads
win. We need this win. We know it. We're playing well. We're confident. We may have taken an L today, but I think we learned a lot about our team.
Correct.
We learned a lot about what we need to do. And I just think Iowa doesn't present nearly the challenge that Illinois did today.
So, just a heads up.
Yes.
Iowa beat Ohio State on the road today. Iowa has the leading scorer in the Big Ten, Keegan Murray.
Mm-hmm. Who's projected to go in the top 15?
Probably. Skilled guy. He's good. It's going to be a tough game. I think they'll win it.
Today.
I think they'll win it, but it's going to be tough. After that, we have home Purdue.
See, that's the one that's a big statement game right there.
Gotta win it.
And
that is a must win at home. We only have
I'm
2
not
home
gonna
games
call
left.
it must win, but we must almost win at least.
No, we must.
We
win.
can't get our doors blown off.
We have to win.
Otherwise, it might break us a little bit.
If
I like
we
it as a
want to
win.
do anything, that's too far late. That's the beginning of March, end of February. We need to.
That's a get up
win.
game. Breslin's got to be awake. It'll be Saturday. I don't know what time the tip is. Hopefully, it's a later tip.
Hopefully. So
I
after
like it as
that,
a win. It's an upset. Mark it down.
so we
Go to
have
your
that as a
bookie.
win. Next game at Michigan.
Win.
Not going to disagree. We
Fuck
can't lose
Michigan.
to those bums. At Ohio State,
Win.
home against Maryland.
Win. We're running the table, folks.
So that's aggressive. 5 wins to end. That would put us to 23-8 overall, and that would put us at 14-6 in the Big Ten.
You got any L's anywhere in there? You disagree with me?
I do think we will catch at least one more L. I think one more.
It's most
think-
likely to be Purdue, but
I
if
think
it's not Purdue, it could be Ohio State. I think we go 4-1 at worst, but I'm calling it. We're running the table 5-0, going down to the Big Ten tournament on a hot streak, and a popular pick to make a Final Four run probably when we're hot like that.
Depends what happens in the Big Ten
We'll see. A
tournament.
lot changes. Hopefully, Izzo can get the recipe right. We can make
We'll
ourselves
see.
a nice little run come March.
So that kind of wraps up where we're at on Spartan Hoops. We'll take a break here.
It's not as bad as you think. Don't worry. Better times are
It
ahead.
isn't. It isn't. And Evan loves Gabe Brown. He's got Gabe Brown posters up everywhere.
Hello,
around
Spartan
the
Hoops.
house.
I'm rooting for you, Gabe.
Big Gabe fan.
Let's take a break. We're gonna come back with a little bit of
We're
NFL
going to talk
draft.
some
We got
NFL draft.
Packers. We got Lions.
And we're going to talk through that. And who knows? Maybe we'll get crazy and we'll talk a little Aaron Rodgers for you.
Rodgers. Discount double check.
We all know Evan's going to be slobbering here. So we'll be back here in a second.
Breaking news coming next.
So this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
Aaron Rodgers and Shailene Woodley are calling it quits. The couple have broken up just 1 year after the 38-year-old NFL star announced that they were engaged. A source spoke out to People about why the athlete and 30-year-old actress decided to end things, saying, quote, "It was an amicable split. It just wasn't working. They're very different people with busy careers, and there were obstacles that they couldn't surmount. They will remain friendly. There's no bad blood and no drama. It just didn't work out for them."
MCDC.
All right, let's go. I'm running
Okay.
out of energy here.
Oh, come on.
I'm fine. We only need 5 minutes of content here. I can give you 5 minutes.
Oh, I'm giving you 5.
I can give you 5 minutes.
I can give you
Just
5 whole
anytime,
minutes.
any day, any place. Welcome back. Segment 2. Spartan my take.
This is mine. This is
Spartan my take.
Spartan my take. That is
Oh!
Spartan my take.
Let's go. Something good happened tonight.
Wow.
Whoa!
More of that.
We just gotta keep drinking.
I know.
Spartan my take.
That's it. That is it.
I like that.
That's great.
Write that down.
Oh my gosh, people. As we come back from the most productive break we have ever had in Spartan Nation history, what you just heard was Evan, off the cuff, coming up with,
Spartan my take.
and it has changed our podcast forever.
I think this is gonna take us to a whole another level.
It's a much better name.
Much
Which
better.
the first name
Nothing
he
against
also came up
State
with.
of the Spartans. Nothing against his great name.
Yes.
Will work for somebody else. Spartan my take. That's got weight.
Different stratosphere.
We
We're
might
now
go
on-
platinum.
Yes. We're now there. We have arrived at podcast level. So what you also heard is a little of the best coach in the NFL and really the planet.
Dr.
Motor
Zuko?
City Dan Campbell.
Campbell's Chunky Soup.
Yeah, exactly. The man,
he's
the
a
myth,
gritty-
the legend.
He's a gritty guy.
And we're gonna talk some NFL. You also heard some of that Aaron Rodgers news that everyone loves. But we're gonna do just a quick breakdown here of what I think the Lions should do with the draft, what Evan thinks the Packers should do with the draft, and we'll kind of go from there. So, Evan, the Lions had a really productive year at the end of the year.
They really did. You know, they managed to fight their way into the top 3 of the draft again. So another successful season for the Lions. High hopes. They're going to get some more high-end talent. Do you think they take another corner here in the top
Take
3?
another corner? Stingley, anyone?
Are we still high on the last guy that they took from
Okuda?
Ohio State? Okuda?
He's going to be moved to safety.
Hey, he could have been great, but he got drafted by the Lions.
The Achilles just couldn't hold up.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for that.
It sure couldn't.
So anyway, we have the combine coming up here in probably about a month. We have the draft obviously in 2 months. So we just wanted to deliver to you guys what we thought our team should do at this point. And so I'll start real quick at the Lions.
Oh,
With
does
the
he
first
have
pick.
something for you? Let me tell you.
I've thought
Mr.
about this a
GM
lot.
himself.
As Guy Fieri comes on the screen in the dunk contest.
If you're driving, put your seatbelt on.
So anyway, Lions first pick. I'm not sold on either of the defensive ends. I'm not sold on Hutchinson being strong enough or going to be productive enough at the end spot. I also think something about Thibodeau tells me he's going to disappear at times. He's not what we need at that high. And I'm not sold on anyone else there, so I'm going to trade back. Somewhere hopefully in the top 10 still, if not just outside. And the guy I'm targeting is Traylon Burks. Big receiver. We need receivers. We have none outside of Amon-Ra, who's working in the slot. We need an outside guy that we can go to in the red zone. He will open the offense. I have faith.
You're going with Traylon Burks at what point
You
in
trade
the draft?
back. You trade wherever you trade back to.
20s?
No, not that far. The end of the top 10, maybe somewhere between 10 and 15.
He's not going that early.
Yeah, he is. I think he's after the combine.
We've watched
I think
his
he's
tape,
going to be.
And
Anyway, this is what I would do, and
Okay.
I will not interject with your Packers thoughts. So
I'm sure you won't.
So we do that. We trade back with what we get. We use that to also move up from the last pick of the first round. We move up and to get Nakobe Dean. The Lions have not had a linebacker since DeAndre Levy that was worth anything.
Is that the linebacker from Georgia?
Yes.
Oh,
Nakobe Dean.
quarterback of the best defense in
Between
college football. last season.
he's projected between 20 and 25. If we can go from 32 up to a spot where we feel comfortable we can get Dean, I'd do that.
But is he a kneecap biter?
Yes, he absolutely is. The second pick of the second round, I need them taking a safety. There's going to be two there. Either Daxton Hill, who's more of a deep ball guy, and I despise everything about the school down in Ann Arbor, but Daxton Hill is rangy. He's fast. He can cover guys man to man. He's good in zone. I would take him. Or Lewis Seen, who is a safety from Georgia, all over the field. He's more of an in the box type guy. He can cover a little bit, but I think that would be phenomenal to help our secondary. And then a surprise. We're only doing the first and second round. But you know what?
We got a bonus pick?
We have a bonus pick. I
Wow.
have us trading up again.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse.
We're moving again to secure none other than Kenneth Walker III, K9. And we roll with Swift and K9. We have the receiver, Traylon Burks. We have the slot guy. We have the tight end. We now have the weapons to be a top 10 offense in the NFL.
Does that complete your fantasy land draft?
That does complete my fantasy land draft of what I think my man, Brad Holmes, and our confab of people that includes Chris Spielman, that includes, again, the best coach in the NFL.
Okay,
Motor
that's
City
enough of the
Dan
blue
Campbell.
Kool-Aid. I have one other takeaway from your wish list there. I guess that's probably a proper term for what you just laid out there.
Yeah, it's a
None
wish
of-
list. It's what I hope
None
they
of that's
do.
going to happen. They're not trading out of the second pick. First of all, they're going to take your boy from the school down the road. They're going to take the wrong guy at number 2, Aiden Hutchinson. And then they take Daxton Hill at the end of the first round. How bad is it going to feel when you got 2 first-rounders from Michigan?
I
And they're
don't.
both busts.
I do not think Hill will be a bust. I do think Hutchinson will not be as good as people think. And I think you saw that on display when they played Georgia. He had the game of his life against Ohio State because that's all he's cared about and prepared for his 21 years on this earth. But when it comes to the NFL and NFL tackles, it will look closer to Georgia, where he's getting pummeled, to what it looked like against Ohio State. Sorry, Casey. No offense. Moving on from the
think-
Lions to the Pack Show.
Yes, this is the real show. When I look at the Packers roster, I mean, you look at a team that has a Super Bowl roster, has the capability to reload. Receiver is the one spot on offense that needs some attention. And I think if you're looking at receiver, the man that jumps off the screen to me is Justin Ross. And if you haven't heard of him, he's a junior, 4th-year junior out of Clemson, played 2 years with Trevor Lawrence. His 2 best years. His best year was his freshman year.
He was a beast.
Kid's 6'4", 200 pounds, fast. Not lightning fast, but fast.
Fast enough.
Great hands, one-handed catches, back of the end zone, all kinds of range when it comes to catching the ball. When they went up against Alabama in 2019 in the national championship, 6 catches, 135 yards, breaking ankles, breaking knees.
He was their
shaking
star.
safeties, one-handed catches on the sideline.
He absolutely was.
Had a bit of a neck issue after his sophomore year, but
A bit?
He got his neck
bit?
fused, so it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's a concern. If you think that someone's going to take him before you in
Well-
the first round, then you trade up to get him. And I don't think anyone's going to trade up to get him. I think we'd even trade back to get him. And I think you just sit where you're at and you take Justin Ross and you run it back. The biggest risk with him is his neck. He played 10 games last season without an issue.
He did. He was back.
He's a 5-star prospect.
So
6'4".
I agree. I think he's going to be a
quicks.
solid.
You can kiss Amari Rodgers goodbye because he's going to be on the practice squad. So take the receiver, and then after that, in the second round, I think you bolster the O-line. You build the D-line.
The people want to know. Obviously, Evan, you have slobbered all over this guy for years.
Along with millions.
And he has broken your heart for years.
Ain't the only heart.
I want to know a couple questions. Question number one, how do you feel about him after he put up 10 points in the playoff game and left you hanging? The whole Packers organization hanging.
We watched that game in this
And the second question is he coming back?
So, final whistle blows. We lose to the 49ers. I'm very upset with Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling him to leave. Pack your bags.
I heard you say that.
Don't come back.
You very much did say that loudly.
Son of a gun. Forced it to Devontae one too many times. You went back to that well and missed open guys. And, I mean,
So how do you feel about him?
we still should have won that
Is he your
game.
QB for life?
I was very upset. That was one of his worst playoff performances. I thought he could have done a lot more. I think that he thought that things were going to be a little bit easier for some reason. Because obviously he spoke about it after the game and that they expected to win that game. You can't expect. I mean, you want to win, but you can't just expect the other team to roll out their helmets and you're just going to win. You
Hey,
got to go out
pause.
and you got to take it.
Pause for a second.
Pause.
This is where Evan tells us that he doesn't expect the number one overall seed Green Bay Packers to beat the 49ers, who are starting Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback.
49ers are loaded. So
Oh, yeah. But
you know
it's
it,
not
you
a
know it.
lot.
All our listeners know it.
What
So,
were they, like a 9-point favorite?
I don't know.
Don't
were
worry
a
about
4-point
that. You
favorite.
can't promise anything.
So, anyways, yes, we were all upset. Everyone, there's no sugarcoating it. It was a shitty playoff performance. So there, are you happy?
I am.
All right, good. So moving on.
It's the story of his career.
It's coming from the man who's never seen a playoff win from his team. Pile on when we lose in the playoffs. That's
Correct.
just as good as it gets for Lions fans when the Packers lose.
If you listen to all the loonies, I just watched the Lions Super Bowl win.
As far as his future, he's back. They just brought back his old offensive coordinator and quarterback coach of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, Tom Clements. That's an Aaron Rodgers hire. That's not a Packers hire.
Yeah, for
That's an
sure.
Aaron Rodgers hire. He's back. We're rolling it back. We're bringing in Justin Ross. We're bringing in some extra linemen. We're going to be able to restructure. We're going to be able to extend. We're going to be able to cut Z. And we're going to roll it back. We're not going to win 13 games again. Because this team's going to get bored in the regular season. This team's going to win 11 games in the regular season. We're going to play in the wild card for the first time in 4 years. And we're going to roll to the Super Bowl. And you can write it down. Call your bookie.
Wow. Very strong. So
That's what's going to happen.
you think that's what's going to happen. The fact is the Lions will win the division. But
You would just stop
But
the show here. Things
also,
are coming unglued.
Aaron's not coming back. He's done. You said it so many times. It was the last dance. Everything he has done, everything he has said,
Everything's fluid.
it is, but when he put finality to it, he's a stubborn guy. From anything. I obviously don't pay as much attention to him as you do, because
You want him gone. As a Lions fan, you want him gone. And that's what
you're playing canteen boy.
That's
with
all I
him.
hear right now is that I'm a Lions
No,
fan. I
no.
need Rodgers gone for us to have a chance.
Because when you're playing canteen boy with him, I'm sitting here listening to his tweets of this is the last dance with Devontae, And then that moment when he's soaking up the scene at Lambeau.
He does that all the time.
It was very much, it felt like almost like a Tom Brady moment where he knew this was it in New England. It very much felt like a moment of, this is one of the last times I'm going to be on this field. So, great discussion. We'll see what happens with Raji. Very excited to have the draft process unfold. We're going to have some combine stuff in everyone.
Running, jumping, stretching.
Yes. Everyone freaks out after the combine. So
He's
anything
too fat.
we
He's
said,
too skinny. He's just right. I'll take him in the 3rd round tonight.
Exactly. That is spot on.
You can expect that in the future.
So we'll see what happens, but that's kind of where we're at. And our opinions will vary over the next couple months, and we'll bring them to you. We're going to bring them to you strong.
I'm a rock solid straight shooter.
All right. So Evan's a little in the tank.
Thanks for staying with us. Spartan.
And what's the name of this podcast?
Spartan My Take.
Spartan My Take. That's right.
See you,
Easy
folks.
E coming in clutch with the name.
Bang.
Till next time, guys. Have a great week.
Peace.
Peace.